Success doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't come to those who wait, and it doesn't show up when you take breaks in the middle of the journey. Success is built by those who work relentlessly, day in and day out. It's about the choices you make every single day, the effort you put in, and the consistency you keep, even when things get tough. If you're serious about reaching your full potential and achieving your dreams, there is no substitute for hard work. In the next few minutes, we're going to explore what it really means to work relentlessly. We'll talk about how to stay focused, how to push past distractions, and how to keep showing up when you feel like giving up. The key is simple. Don't just work hard. Work with purpose, clarity, and consistency. If you're ready to transform your approach and take your success to the next level, then stay with me. What we're about to discuss could be the difference between just dreaming and actually making those dreams a reality. Let's get started. Set a clear and bold target. If you don't know exactly where you're going, you'll never get there. Think about that for a second. Life doesn't just hand you success, fulfillment, or happiness. Those things don't show up by accident or luck. They come to the person who knows what they want, who sets a target so clear and bold that it lights a fire in their soul. That's the kind of clarity we're talking about today. Now, I want to ask you something. Have you ever wandered through a day, or maybe even a year, feeling like you were busy but not really getting anywhere? You worked hard. You put in the hours, but at the end of it all, you couldn't quite say what it was all for. That's what happens when you don't set a bold target. Without a target, your energy is scattered. Your actions are disconnected. And no matter how hard you work, you won't get the results you're after. But here's the good news. That can change. It doesn't matter where you're starting from, what your past looks like, or how many times you've felt stuck. What matters is that today, right now, you decide to get clear about what you truly want. And not just clear bold, a target that scares you a little, excites you a lot, and forces you to grow into the person who can achieve it. So let's make this real. I want you to take a moment, today, not tomorrow or next week, to sit down with yourself. No distractions, no phone, no TV, no noise, just you and a blank piece of paper. And on that paper, I want you to write this question: what do I really want out of life? Simple, right? But it's one of the most powerful questions you'll ever ask yourself. And here's the thing. Don't write down what you think other people expect from you. Don't write down what society says you should want. Forget all of that. This is about you. What lights you up? What's the thing that if you achieved it, would make you feel alive? That's your target. Now, once you've got that answer, it's time to make it specific. You can't hit a vague target. If you say, I want to be successful, that's not enough. Success means different things to different people. Does it mean starting your own business? Does it mean doubling your income? Does it mean building stronger relationships with your family? You've got to define it in a way that's real and tangible. Let's say you're aiming to improve your finances. Don't just say, I want more money. Be clear about the amount, the timeline, and the plan. For example, I want to earn an extra $50,000 this year by launching a side business. See the difference? Now you've got something you can visualize, something you can measure. And once you've set that bold target, commit to it. Don't dip your toes in the water. Jump all the way in. Say to yourself, this is what I'm going after, and I will do whatever it takes to make it happen. Because when you commit fully, everything changes. You start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You start to take actions that align with your goal. Here's another key. Visualize it. I mean, really see it in your mind. Close your eyes and imagine what it looks like to achieve that target. Imagine the moment when you reach it, how it feels, how your life looks, what the people around you are saying. The clearer that vision is, the stronger your drive will be. But I'll tell you this, just imagining it isn't enough. You've got to put it in writing. Take that target and write it down in bold letters. Put it somewhere you'll see it every single day. Maybe it's on your bathroom mirror, or on the wall next to your bed, or even in your wallet. Every morning, look at it. Remind yourself of what you're working toward and why it matters. Now, here's a little secret to keep in mind. Even the boldest targets can feel overwhelming if you focus only on the big picture. That's why you need to break it down into smaller, bite-sized goals. Let's say your target is to write a book. Thinking about the entire book can feel daunting, right? But what if you focus on writing just one chapter? or even just one page each day. Suddenly it feels manageable. And when you complete those small steps, you build momentum. And momentum, that's what keeps you moving forward. But let me warn you, there will be days when you feel tired, discouraged, or even ready to give up. That's when you need to remind yourself of your why. Why did you set this target in the first place? What's driving you? Maybe it's the desire to provide a better life for your family. Maybe it's the dream of proving to yourself that you can do it. Whatever it is, hold on to it. Let it fuel you when the going gets tough. And here's the last thing I'll say. Don't expect everything to go perfectly. Life will throw you curveballs. Plans will change. But that doesn't mean you abandon your target. It means you adjust your approach. You keep your eyes on the goal, and you stay flexible with how you get there. So my challenge to you is this. Decide what you really want. Set a target that excites you, that scares you, that stretches you. Make it bold, make it specific, and commit to it with everything you've got. And then work relentlessly. Because when you have a clear and bold target, the path forward becomes clear. Show up every single day. Small success doesn't belong to the most talented or the luckiest. It belongs to the ones who show up every single day without fail. That's the secret most people miss. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. It's about being there, doing the work, and putting in the effort, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. You see, showing up is more than just being physically present. It's about committing yourself fully, mind, body, and soul, to the process. Think about this. How many times have you heard someone say they'll start tomorrow, or next week, or when they feel ready? They put off their goals waiting for inspiration to strike or for things to magically fall into place. But here's the truth. Waiting is a trap. It keeps you stuck in the same place, day after day. The ones who succeed are the ones who decide that today is the day, not tomorrow, not next week. Today they show up, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. They know that every small step they take brings them closer to their dreams. And when you show up every day, consistently, something incredible starts to happen. You build momentum, you gain confidence. And before you know it, you've moved further than you ever thought possible. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself 5 years from now. Who do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? Now let me ask you this. Are your actions today bringing you closer to that vision, or are they keeping you in the same place? Because here's the thing. Your future self is shaped by what you do today, not what you promise to do someday. Every time you show up, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. But let's be real for a second. Showing up isn't always glamorous. It's not about grand gestures or big wins every day. Sometimes it's about the quiet, unglamorous work that no one sees. It's waking up early to exercise when your bed feels like the coziest place on earth. It's staying late at the office to finish that project when everyone else has gone home. It's saying no to distractions so you can focus on what truly matters. That's what showing up looks like. It's not flashy, but it's powerful. And yes, there will be days when it feels hard. Days when you're tired, frustrated, or overwhelmed. That's when most people give up. They say, I'll skip today. It won't matter. But let me tell you something. It does matter. Every day you show up. Even when it's tough, you're building a habit. You're training yourself to persevere. And that habit of perseverance, that's what separates the winners from the quitters. Here's the part no one talks about. Showing up every day doesn't just change your results. It changes you. It makes you stronger, more disciplined, more resilient. It teaches you that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. And that kind of transformation, it's priceless. Now I know what you might be thinking. Jim, I get it. But how do I start? How do I stay consistent when life gets in the way? The answer is simple. You make a decision. You decide right now that your goals are worth it, that your future is worth it. And then you take action. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, today. Start small if you need to. If your goal is to write a book, commit to writing just 1 page a day. If you want to get in shape, start with a 10-minute workout. The key is to build the habit of showing up. Once you do that, you can build from there. But here's the catch. You've got to hold yourself accountable. No excuses, no shortcuts. If you make a commitment to yourself, honor it. Treat it as sacred. Because every time you break a promise to yourself, you chip away at your confidence. And every time you keep that promise, you build it. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, show up every single day. It doesn't matter how small the action is, as long as you do it. And here's what will happen. You'll start to see progress. You'll start to feel proud of yourself. And that pride, That's what keeps you going. Let me leave you with this. The journey to success is not about being perfect. It's not about avoiding mistakes or never stumbling. It's about showing up day after day, no matter what. It's about being relentless in your pursuit of your dreams. Because when you commit to showing up, you prove to yourself and to the world that you're serious. So the question is, are you ready to show up? Are you ready to take control of your future and build the life you've always wanted? If you are, then start today, not tomorrow. Today, because the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time, right now. Eliminate distractions and focus deeply. How many hours of your life have been stolen by distractions? How many moments full of potential have slipped away because your attention was pulled somewhere else? It's hard to think about, isn't it? Because deep down, we all know this truth. Distractions are the enemy of greatness. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you need to take control of your focus. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. The world we live in is designed to pull you in a million different directions. Every notification, every buzzing phone, every email, it's all screaming for your attention. And if you're not careful, you'll give it away without even realizing it. The problem is your attention is your greatest asset. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And if you're constantly distracted, your energy is scattered. That's no way to achieve anything meaningful. If you want to work relentlessly, you have to make a choice, a bold and intentional choice, to eliminate distractions and focus deeply. It's not an easy choice. It takes discipline. But I promise you, it's worth it. Because when you focus deeply, you tap into a power most people never experience. You become unstoppable. The first step is to identify your distractions. Be honest with yourself. What's stealing your time? Is it your phone? Social media? Mindlessly scrolling through the internet? Maybe it's the endless stream of messages or the temptation to check your email every 5 minutes. Whatever it is, call it out. Write it down if you have to. You can't fight an enemy you're not willing to name. Once you know your distractions, it's time to take action. Start by creating an environment that supports your focus. If your phone is a problem, put it in another room while you work. If social media is pulling you away, log out or block those sites during your most productive hours. Don't underestimate how much power your environment has over your behavior. Set yourself up for success by removing the temptation before it even has a chance to distract you. Now let's talk about something that's just as important as eliminating distractions: protecting your time. Because here's the thing, people will constantly try to pull you away from your goals. They'll ask for favors, they'll interrupt you, and they'll expect you to drop everything to help them. And while it's good to help others, you can't let it come at the expense of your dreams. Learn to say no, not rudely, but firmly. Say it with respect, but say it. Your time is precious. Guard it fiercely. Once you've cleared the distractions and set boundaries around your time, the next step is to train your mind to focus deeply. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. Start by choosing one task and giving it your full attention for a set amount of time. No multitasking, no switching back and forth, just one task. Use a timer if you need to. Start with 25 or 30 minutes, then gradually work your way up. Over time, your ability to concentrate will grow stronger, and you'll find it easier to stay locked in. Let me tell you what happens when you focus deeply. First, you'll get more done in less time. Tasks that used to take hours will take minutes. You'll move through your work with clarity and purpose. Second, you'll start to feel a sense of satisfaction that's hard to put into words. There's nothing quite like the feeling of finishing a task, knowing you gave it your all. And third, you'll create better work. When you're fully present and engaged, the quality of your work skyrockets. You'll surprise yourself with what you're capable of. But let's not forget the bigger picture here. Deep focus isn't just about getting things done. It's about becoming the kind of person who's fully alive in every moment. When you're focused, you're present, you're in the zone. And that state of being, that's where the magic happens. That's where you grow, where you create, where you find fulfillment. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said distractions will just disappear forever. They won't. Life will always have interruptions, temptations, and unexpected challenges. But here's the good news. You have the power to choose how you respond. You can let distractions control you, or you can take control of your focus. It's up to you. I want to challenge you to take a hard look at your life today. Are you living with focus, or are you letting distractions dictate your days? If it's the latter, Don't beat yourself up. Just make the decision to change. Start small if you need to. Maybe it's turning off your notifications, setting a timer for focused work, or saying no to something that doesn't align with your goals. Whatever it is, take that first step today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because when you eliminate distractions and focus deeply, you unlock a new level of potential. You step into a version of yourself that's more disciplined, more capable, and more powerful than you ever thought possible. And that version of you, that's the one who changes the game. That's the one who achieves the extraordinary. So what are you waiting for? Your focus is your superpower. Use it, take control of it, and watch how your life transforms. Break tasks into bite-sized pieces. How often do you feel overwhelmed by the sheer size of your goals? Do you ever look at what you're trying to achieve and think, where do I even start? That feeling, that weight, it's something we've all experienced. But here's the truth you need to hear today. The biggest mountains in your life are conquered one step at a time. If you want to work relentlessly and achieve greatness, you've got to master the art of breaking things down into bite-sized pieces. When you look at any big goal as one giant task, it's easy to feel paralyzed. It feels impossible, like staring up at a skyscraper and trying to imagine how you could ever climb it. But what you might not realize is that every major accomplishment in history, every great achievement, was built one brick at a time. No one starts at the finish line. They start at the beginning with one small, manageable piece. That's how you build momentum. That's how you make progress. And that's how you win. The first thing you've got to do is get clear about what the big picture looks like. Take your goal, that huge thing you're working toward, and write it down. Be specific. Maybe you want to write a book, start a business, or lose 50 pounds. Whatever it is, get it out of your head and onto paper. Seeing it in front of you makes it real. It gives you something tangible to work toward. But don't stop there. Once you've got that big goal written down, the next step is to break it apart. Think of your goal like a puzzle. A puzzle isn't one solid piece. It's made up of hundreds, sometimes thousands of smaller pieces that fit together to form the whole. Your goal is the same way. Start by asking yourself, what's one small piece of this puzzle I can work on today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. If your goal is to write a book, maybe your first piece is brainstorming ideas or outlining one chapter. If you're starting a business, maybe it's creating a plan or researching your market. Whatever it is, focus on that one piece and give it your full attention. Here's the beauty of breaking things into bite-sized pieces. It eliminates overwhelm. Instead of thinking about the entire book or the entire business, you're thinking about one chapter, one task, one small win. And when you focus on that, something incredible happens. You start to build confidence. You start to feel capable. And with every small win, you get closer to the bigger goal. I want you to picture this. Imagine you're climbing a staircase. You don't look at the top and try to leap all the way up in one giant jump, do you? No, you take it one step at a time. And each step brings you higher, closer to where you want to be. That's exactly how you approach your work. You don't need to do it all at once. You just need to take the next step. But let's talk about something that often trips people up when they're trying to break their work into smaller pieces. A lot of people think they need to have the entire plan figured out before they can start. They get stuck in analysis paralysis, trying to map out every single detail before they take the first step. Don't fall into that trap. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need to know what's right in front of you. Trust that as you move forward, the next steps will become clear. Action creates clarity. The more you do, the more you'll understand what needs to happen next. Now let's get practical. Once you've broken your goal into smaller pieces, create a system to keep track of them. Write them down, organize them, and set deadlines for each piece. And don't just keep this system in your head. Use a notebook, an app, a whiteboard, whatever works for you. The key is to make it visual. When you can see the steps laid out in front of you, it becomes easier to focus on what needs to be done and stay motivated as you check each piece off the list. One thing I want you to remember is this: small progress is still progress. It doesn't matter how small the piece is, as long as you're moving forward. Even 5 minutes of focused work on a tiny piece of your goal is better than sitting still and doing nothing, because those 5 minutes add up. Those small actions compound over time. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Let me share something personal with you. When I first started working on my own goals, I made the mistake of trying to do too much all at once. I'd take on massive projects, thinking I could tackle them in one go, and then I'd get frustrated when I couldn't keep up. It wasn't until I learned to slow down, to focus on one small task at a time, that everything started to change. And let me tell you, that shift changed my life. It taught me that persistence, not perfection, is what leads to success. But here's the real magic of working in bite-sized pieces. It keeps you consistent. And consistency is the secret weapon of every high achiever. When you commit to showing up every day and working on just one piece of the puzzle, you create a habit, and habits, over time, shape your destiny. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Day after day, piece after piece, until the work is done. So let me ask you, what's the next piece of your puzzle? What's one small thing you can do today to move closer to your goal? Don't overthink it. Don't make it complicated. Just pick one thing and start. Because here's the truth. The only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. The only way to climb a mountain is one step at a time. And the only way to achieve your dreams is one small piece at a time. Start today. Start now. Because the work you do today, no matter how small, is building the future you've been dreaming of. Embrace discipline over motivation. What happens when motivation runs out? Because it will. Motivation comes and goes. It's like the wind. Some days it's blowing strong, and you feel unstoppable. Other days it's nowhere to be found, and you're left wondering how to keep going. The truth is, success doesn't depend on motivation. It depends on discipline. Discipline is the foundation that carries you forward when the excitement fades, when the mood isn't there, and when the work gets tough. Now, I know discipline doesn't sound glamorous. It's not flashy, and it doesn't give you that immediate rush of excitement. But let me tell you this. Discipline is your greatest ally. It's the secret weapon that separates those who wish for success from those who achieve it. Discipline isn't about being perfect or never slipping up. It's about showing up and doing the work, day after day, no matter how you feel. It's about making a promise to yourself and keeping it, even when it's hard. Think about the times when you felt motivated to start something new. Maybe it was a workout plan, a business idea, or a creative project. In the beginning, motivation feels like fuel. It gets you off the starting line. But what happens after the first few days or weeks, when the novelty wears off? That's when discipline steps in. Discipline says, I'll keep going, even when I don't feel like it. And that's what gets results. That's what builds momentum and creates long-term success. You see, motivation is an emotion, and emotions are unpredictable. They change with the weather, with your energy levels, and with your circumstances. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision. It's a choice you make, regardless of how you feel. It's waking up early to work on your goals, even when you'd rather stay in bed. It's putting in the effort, even when no one's watching. It's doing what needs to be done because you've committed to the outcome. Let me share something with you. The people you admire, the ones who've built incredible businesses, written best-selling books, or mastered their craft, they didn't rely on motivation to get there. They relied on discipline. They created habits and routines that allowed them to keep moving forward, even on the days when they didn't feel inspired. They didn't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect mood. They showed up and they did the work. That's the difference. Here's the thing, discipline doesn't come naturally to most people. It's something you have to build, step by step, like a muscle. And just like with physical muscles, it takes practice and repetition. You start small. Maybe it's committing to 10 minutes a day on your goal. Maybe it's saying no to distractions for an hour. Whatever it is, you build your discipline gradually, and over time it becomes a part of who you are. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Jim, what if I don't feel like it? What if I'm too tired, too busy, or too overwhelmed? That's when you remind yourself of your why. Why are you doing this? What's the bigger purpose behind your goal? Discipline isn't about willpower alone. It's about being connected to something greater. When you know your why, when you have a clear vision of what you're working toward, it becomes easier to push through those moments of resistance. Discipline is also about creating an environment that supports your goals. If you're trying to eat healthier, don't fill your pantry with junk food. If you're trying to stay focused, turn off your notifications and eliminate distractions. Your environment matters. It can either help you stay on track or pull you off course. Set yourself up for success by making it easier to stay disciplined. Another thing to remember is that discipline doesn't mean you never take a break or reward yourself. It's not about grinding yourself into the ground. It's about balance. It's about knowing when to push and when to rest. Rest is part of the process too. It recharges you and allows you to come back stronger. But here's the key: you rest with intention, not as an excuse to avoid the work. Discipline is about being honest with yourself and holding yourself accountable. I want you to imagine what your life could look like a year from now. If you practice discipline every day, what could you achieve? How much progress could you make? Picture it in your mind. Now imagine what happens if you don't. If you keep waiting for motivation to strike. If you keep putting things off until you feel ready. Where will you be in a year? The choice is yours. Discipline gives you the power to create the life you want, one day at a time. Let me leave you with this. Discipline is freedom. It might not feel that way at first, but it is. When you're disciplined, you're in control of your life. You're not at the mercy of your moods or your circumstances. You're the one steering the ship. And that freedom, that sense of control, is worth every ounce of effort. So don't wait for motivation to carry you. Build discipline and let it carry you to where you want to go. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, and watch what happens. You've got this. Track your progress every week. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself on this journey is to track your progress. It might sound simple, even obvious, but too many people miss this critical step. They set goals, get busy working, and then somewhere along the way, they lose track of how far they've come or where they're headed. You've heard the phrase, what gets measured gets improved. Well, it's true. If you're not tracking, you're flying blind. Tracking isn't just about numbers. It's about awareness. It's about seeing where you're succeeding, where you're struggling, and being able to adjust in real time. Think about it. How are you going to know if you're making progress if you don't have a clear picture of where you started? And I'm not just talking about big monumental moments. I'm talking about the daily, sometimes seemingly insignificant steps that lead you to success. Every little win counts, but if you don't track it, you'll miss it, and you'll miss the motivation it gives you to keep going. Imagine for a second you're working towards a fitness goal. You get up every day, you do your workout, and maybe you're seeing some changes, but you're not really sure. You don't have a clear picture of your progress because you haven't tracked it. Now imagine instead that you're tracking every day. You're noting how much you lifted, how far you ran, how much energy you have. You track your habits. You track your food. You track your feelings. Suddenly you see the improvements. You realize that your endurance is up. You realize you've lost some weight or gained muscle. You realize the small steps you've been taking are making a huge difference. And that realization fuels you to keep pushing. Tracking your progress also helps keep you grounded. It helps you avoid the "I'm not there yet" mindset that often makes people feel defeated. When you take the time to track, you see just how far you've come, and that can be the difference between quitting and pressing on. It reminds you that you are moving in the right direction, even if it's not as fast as you'd like. And if you're not tracking, you may forget to celebrate those milestones, those small wins, which are so vital to keeping your morale high. Progress isn't always going to be a big leap forward, but if you're tracking, you'll see that every little step counts. And here's something that's so important. Tracking your progress holds you accountable. You can't lie to yourself if you're writing things down. You can't ignore the facts when they're staring you in the face. You'll see if you've been slacking, and you'll see if you're on the right track. Tracking is a tool for honesty. It's a way to keep yourself in check. It forces you to be real with yourself. When you see that you haven't made the progress you wanted, it's not about feeling bad or beating yourself up. It's about using that awareness to get better. It's about making the next move smarter. You can't improve something if you don't know where you are in the first place. Tracking helps you avoid the trap of thinking you're doing well when you're not, or thinking you're failing when you're actually moving forward at your own pace. Here's a good example. Let's say you've got a goal to write a book, and you're making progress, but you're not quite seeing the results you expect. If you track how many words you're writing every day, you'll see that you've written 500 words a day for the past 2 weeks. Now that may not seem like much on any given day, but when you step back and look at the total, you've written 7,000 words. That's progress. But if you weren't tracking, you might have felt like you weren't moving forward at all. Tracking your progress helps you see things clearly, and that clarity is motivating. It helps you understand the process, the journey. It tells you you're doing the work, and it's paying off. Tracking also helps you tweak your strategy. If you're not seeing the results you want, you need to know why. Maybe you're not dedicating enough time to your goal. Maybe you're letting distractions pull you away. Maybe you're not as consistent as you think you are. Without tracking, you'd be guessing, and guesswork rarely leads to results. But with tracking, you can pinpoint exactly where you need to improve. And when you have that information, you can take action. You can make changes, adapt, and do better. The more information you have, the better decisions you can make. Tracking your progress helps you stay in control, and it helps you stay focused on the path forward. Another powerful part of tracking is that it shows you patterns. Over time, you'll start to notice trends. Maybe you're more productive on certain days, or you get more done when you follow a certain routine. Maybe you see that you're more focused when you eat better or get more sleep. By tracking, you can begin to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. You can start to craft a routine that plays to your strengths. This is key. It's not just about doing more work. It's about doing the right work in the right way. When you track, you'll start to understand what makes you tick, and that insight will help you optimize your efforts. So if you're not already tracking your progress, I want to challenge you to start right now. Whether it's your health, your business, your relationships, or any goal you're working toward, start keeping track. Get a notebook, an app, or whatever method works best for you, and start documenting your journey. Write down what you did each day, how you felt, what went well, and where you can improve. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just start. As time passes, you'll look back and you'll be amazed at how far you've come. And more importantly, you'll see that you're on the right track. Tracking your progress isn't just about numbers. It's about insight, awareness, and empowerment. Take it from me, this simple habit can be the game changer you need. You'll gain the clarity to see your progress, the motivation to keep going, and the direction to stay on course. Keep track, stay honest, and keep moving forward. Success is a journey, not a destination, and tracking is the map that guides you. So start today. Don't wait. Your future self will thank you. Learn from every mistake. Mistakes are not your enemy. They're your greatest teachers. Every time you stumble, every time something doesn't go according to plan, that's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to do better. The problem is that too many people are afraid of making mistakes, and they let that fear hold them back from trying. But here's the truth. If you're not making mistakes, you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. You're not reaching for the next level. You're playing it too safe. Let me tell you something. The most successful people I know, the ones who really make things happen, they didn't get there by avoiding mistakes. No, they got there by embracing them. They learned to look at failure as a stepping stone, not a setback. And that's where most people miss it. They try to avoid failure so desperately they end up paralyzed. They get stuck in a place of indecision because they don't want to make the wrong move. But the truth is, you have to make the wrong move to figure out what the right one is. You have to fail your way to success. You have to take risks, make mistakes, and learn along the way. When you make a mistake, it's easy to get discouraged. You might feel like you're not cut out for this, like you're wasting your time. But if you step back and look at it from a different perspective, you'll realize that every mistake is an opportunity to improve. Every failure shows you something you didn't know before, and that's priceless. It's not about the mistake itself. It's about what you do after the mistake. Do you let it stop you, or do you let it teach you? The key to success is learning from every mistake you make. Think about it like this. The world's top athletes, they don't succeed because they avoid mistakes. They succeed because they learn from them faster than anyone else. The best basketball players miss shots. The best runners trip and fall. The best musicians hit wrong notes. But what separates them from everyone else is their response. They don't let mistakes define them. They use them as fuel to push harder, to refine their skills, and to come back stronger. They know that every failure is one step closer to success. Every time they mess up, they're one step closer to getting it right. And if you adopt that mindset, if you learn to embrace your mistakes, then success becomes inevitable. The key is to not beat yourself up when you make a mistake. It's natural to feel frustrated, especially when you've put a lot of effort into something and it doesn't work out. But that frustration, that negative energy, it won't help you move forward. What will help you is taking a deep breath, stepping back and asking yourself, what can I learn from this? What did I miss? What can I do differently next time? That shift in perspective is what will allow you to grow. You're not failing, you're just figuring it out. You're just getting closer to the right answer. And let me tell you this, the more you make mistakes, the more resilient you become. Every mistake builds your mental toughness. It builds your ability to keep going, even when things aren't easy. It teaches you how to adapt, how to bounce back. Every time you get knocked down, you learn how to stand up again, a little stronger than before. And that resilience is a trait that successful people have in spades. They've learned to face mistakes head on, to learn from them, and to keep moving forward no matter what. But it's not just about learning from the mistakes you make. It's about using those lessons to adjust your approach and take smarter risks. You see, making mistakes is part of the process, but you want to make sure you're not repeating the same ones over and over. That's where learning comes in. You take that lesson, that insight, and you use it to change your strategy. Maybe you find a new way to do things. Maybe you shift your mindset. Maybe you try a new approach. But what you don't do is quit. And you don't let the mistake keep you stuck in the past. You use it as a springboard for future success. It's also important to remember that mistakes don't define your worth. Just because you fail at something doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you're human. It means you're trying. It means you're doing the work. And that's what really matters. So don't let one mistake stop you from chasing your dreams. Don't let it discourage you from pursuing your goals. The only way to truly fail is to stop trying. As long as you're still moving forward, as long as you're still learning, you're still winning. Another important lesson is to stop comparing your mistakes to others. Everyone has their own path, their own journey. Someone else's success doesn't diminish your own potential, and the mistakes they make aren't the same as yours. So stop looking at someone else's failures and thinking that yours are worse. The truth is, everyone fails. Everyone stumbles. What matters is how you respond. What matters is how you use those failures to fuel your progress. When you make a mistake, take a moment to appreciate the lesson. Take a moment to understand what it's teaching you. Maybe it's showing you a weakness you need to work on, or maybe it's telling you that your approach needs a little adjustment. But whatever the lesson is, take it to heart. Don't let it go to waste. That's how you grow. That's how you improve. That's how you get closer to your goals. And here's the truth. Making mistakes isn't just part of the process. It's actually essential for growth. If you're not making mistakes, it means you're not stretching yourself. You're not taking risks. You're not reaching your full potential. So get comfortable with the idea of failing. Get comfortable with the discomfort of not getting it right the first time. Because that's where the magic happens. That's where you get better. That's where you start to see the results. In the end, it's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about how you handle them. When you make a mistake, don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Face it, learn from it, and then move on. Every time you do that, you'll become stronger. Every time you do that, you'll get closer to your goals. Every time you do that, you'll get better. And that's what really matters. So make mistakes, fail, learn, grow, and keep moving forward. Because that's how success is built. Surround yourself with high achievers. Success isn't a solo journey. And the truth is, you're never going to reach your full potential if you're not surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, push you, and hold you accountable. It's so easy to get stuck in your own little world, thinking you can do everything on your own. But let me tell you this, you're not an island. We are all products of the people we spend our time with. And if you want to achieve greatness, you need to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. It's about being in the right environment, with the right kind of influence, at the right time. The people you choose to surround yourself with have a huge impact on your success, your mindset, and your growth. If you're hanging out with people who don't have any ambition, who don't push themselves, who don't care about growth or improvement, then guess what? It's going to be hard to be the exception. You'll start to mirror their energy and their mindset, and before you know it, you'll be stuck in a cycle of complacency, wondering why you're not moving forward. But when you surround yourself with high achievers, with people who are driven, who are constantly striving to get better and do better, something powerful happens. You can't help but level up. You start to see what's possible. You start to believe that you can do more, and you start to raise your own standards. You begin to adopt their habits, their mindset, and their work ethic because you want to be in the same league as them. That's the power of being in the right circle. You start to rise to the occasion. It's not just about being around people who are already successful. It's about being around people who are committed to growth, to learning, to pushing their own limits. You don't want to surround yourself with people who are complacent, who are okay with the status quo. You want to be around people who are hungry for more, who are constantly chasing the next level. These are the people who will inspire you to do the same. These are the people who will show you what's possible when you commit to becoming the best version of yourself. Here's the thing. You don't have to have a million friends, but the friends you do have should be the kind of people who lift you up. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. The right people will support you when you're struggling, celebrate your wins with you, and keep you grounded when you get too high on your own success. They'll remind you why you started and help you stay focused on the bigger picture. They'll hold up a mirror and show you your potential, even when you can't see it for yourself. I know this from personal experience. In my life, I've always made a point to surround myself with people who are smarter than me, people who have already achieved the kind of success I want to achieve, people who challenge me, who question my assumptions, and who inspire me to be better every single day. I've seen firsthand how powerful it is to be in the right environment. The people around you can either push you to your limits or hold you back from reaching them. And the truth is, it's your choice. But there's more to it than just being around high achievers. You also need to be a high achiever yourself. It's a two-way street. You can't just sit back and let others do the work. You have to bring your A game. If you want to be surrounded by greatness, you need to be willing to show up, put in the work, and hold yourself accountable to the same standards you expect from others. You need to be someone who adds value to the group, who contributes ideas, who lifts others up when they need it. It's not just about taking, it's about giving too. You also need to find people who share your values and your vision. If you want to go far, you need to find people who are aligned with your purpose, people who get what you're about and who are passionate about the same things you are. This creates a level of trust and understanding that makes it easier to collaborate, to share ideas, and to support each other through the inevitable challenges that come with pursuing big goals. I want you to think about the people in your life right now. Are they helping you get closer to your goals, or are they holding you back? Are they pushing you to grow, to improve, to reach for more? Or are they letting you stay in your comfort zone, where things feel safe and easy but nothing ever changes? You need to be honest with yourself about who you're spending your time with, and whether or not they're contributing to your success. If you find that your circle isn't serving you, it's time to make some changes. You can't be afraid to distance yourself from people who don't align with where you're going. And remember, you're not doing this to be selfish or to cut people out of your life for no reason. You're doing it to take your life to the next level. You're doing it because you owe it to yourself to surround yourself with people who push you, who inspire you, and who will help you become the best version of yourself. You're doing it because your dreams are too important to settle for anything less. But it's not just about finding the right people. It's also about creating the right environment. You have to surround yourself with inspiration, with resources that help you grow, with opportunities to learn. That might mean joining groups or networks where you can connect with like-minded individuals. Or it might mean seeking out mentors who have the experience and wisdom to guide you along the way. The environment you create around you plays a huge role in your success. When you surround yourself with greatness, you become greatness. When you commit to being around people who inspire, challenge, and motivate you, you unlock a level of potential you never knew existed. The right people will help you see beyond your limitations and push you to achieve things you never thought possible. They will show you what's possible when you commit to growth and surround yourself with the right energy. So ask yourself, what kind of people do you want in your life? Do you want people who settle for mediocrity, or do you want people who are striving for excellence? The choice is yours. You have the power to create your circle, and you have the power to elevate your life by surrounding yourself with the right people. Don't settle for less than you deserve. You are worthy of being around people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who push you to be the best you can be. Choose wisely, and watch how your life begins to transform. Take care of your body and mind. If you want to achieve lasting success, you cannot afford to ignore one of the most critical aspects of it, taking care of your body and mind. Now, I know it might sound obvious, but so many people overlook this part of the equation. They chase success in their careers, in their personal lives, in their businesses, and they forget the most important part, their health. You can have all the talent, all the ambition, and all the drive in the world, but if you don't take care of yourself, none of it will matter. You won't have the energy, the clarity, or the strength to go the distance. I want to be real with you for a minute. We're in a world that celebrates hustle, constantly working, pushing, striving. And don't get me wrong, hustle is important, but not at the expense of your well-being. Because let me tell you something. If your body and mind aren't in the best shape they can be, you'll hit a wall. It's just a matter of time. You'll burn out, you'll lose focus, and you'll feel drained. When that happens, all the effort you put in starts to fall apart. It's like building a house on a weak foundation. It's going to crumble eventually. So what does it really mean to take care of your body and mind? It's about recognizing that your health is the foundation upon which everything else is built. If you're not eating well, not sleeping well, not moving your body, not managing your stress, well, you're not going to be able to show up at your best. And let's face it, if you're not at your best, how can you expect to achieve your best? Taking care of your body isn't just about hitting the gym or going on a diet. It's about making choices every single day that support your energy, your focus, and your overall well-being. It's about fueling your body with the right foods, getting enough sleep, staying active, and giving yourself the rest you need when it's time to recharge. And here's the thing, this is not a one-time thing. This is a lifestyle change. You can't go hard for a week or a month and then crash. You need to make taking care of yourself a priority every single day. Let's talk about food for a minute. What you eat is a direct reflection of how you feel, how much energy you have, and how well you perform. If you're putting junk into your body, guess what? You're going to feel sluggish, tired, and distracted. But if you're fueling your body with the right nutrients, lean proteins, vegetables, healthy fats, whole grains, you'll feel the difference. You'll have more energy, more clarity, and more stamina to go the distance. Your body is your vehicle, and you've got to treat it like one. Don't fill it with garbage and expect it to run like a Ferrari. And then there's sleep. Let's not sugarcoat it. So many of us are walking around sleep deprived, trying to power through the day on a few hours of rest. But let me tell you something. Sleep is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Your body needs that time to repair, to rejuvenate, and to get ready for the next day. When you don't sleep enough, you're not just tired. You're impairing your ability to think clearly, to make good decisions, to stay focused, and to handle stress. Sleep is when your brain processes everything you've learned during the day, and it's essential for memory and cognitive function. If you want to perform at your best, you need to prioritize sleep. Now let's talk about movement. Too many of us sit at desks all day staring at screens, and by the end of the day, we're stiff, tired, and mentally drained. But movement is so important. It doesn't matter if it's going for a walk, doing some yoga, hitting the gym, or just stretching. Your body needs movement to stay healthy. Exercise boosts your energy, improves your mood, and helps you manage stress. It's a powerful way to stay sharp, focused, and in control of your health. Even if you don't have a lot of time, find ways to move every day. It could be as simple as taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or going for a brisk walk during lunch. Now let's address the mental side of things. Taking care of your mind is just as important as taking care of your body. If you're constantly in a state of stress, if you're overwhelmed, if you're constantly worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, you're not going to perform at your highest level. You've got to find ways to calm your mind, to de-stress, and to stay focused. That might mean practicing mindfulness, meditating, or simply taking a few minutes each day to breathe and center yourself. It's about giving your mind the space to relax, to focus, and to recharge. Without mental clarity, it's hard to make good decisions, to think creatively, or to stay motivated. You need to manage your stress effectively because stress will come. It's a part of life, and while you can't always control external circumstances, you can control how you respond to them. When you're stressed, your body reacts by releasing hormones like cortisol, which in the long term can lead to physical and mental exhaustion. Find what works for you to manage stress. For some people, it's exercise. For others, it's spending time with family or friends. Whatever it is, make it a priority. And here's another important aspect. Give yourself permission to rest. I'm not talking about taking a nap in the middle of the day, although that can help sometimes. I'm talking about giving yourself a break when you need it. We live in a world that rewards constant hustle, but the reality is, you can't go full speed ahead without giving your body and mind time to recover. Burnout is real, and if you don't give yourself time to recharge, you'll hit a wall. Schedule time for rest, for relaxation, and for hobbies that make you feel good. Whether it's reading, spending time in nature, or just watching a good movie, taking that time is essential for your long-term success. The bottom line is this: if you want to achieve anything of substance in life, you need to take care of the most important resource you have, yourself. Your body and mind are your most valuable assets, and when you prioritize your health, everything else falls into place. Your energy will improve, your focus will improve, and your ability to achieve your goals will improve. Take care of your body and mind today, and watch how your success grows tomorrow. Don't wait until you're burned out. Start now. Make the commitment to invest in your health, because when you do, everything else in your life will start to improve. You deserve it. Celebrate small wins along the way. You can't get to where you want to be without celebrating every small win along the way. I'm talking about acknowledging your progress, no matter how small it might seem in the moment. We live in a world that's constantly pushing us to do more, achieve more, and move on to the next goal. But if you don't take a moment to appreciate what you've already accomplished, you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of always striving, always feeling like you're not quite there yet. That's exhausting. That's demoralizing. And most of all, it's unnecessary. I get it. There are big, long-term goals you're working toward. You have this grand vision for your future, and it's easy to get caught up in the hustle of trying to reach it. But here's the truth. The journey is just as important as the destination. Every small step, every little achievement, every bit of progress is a victory. And you need to start celebrating those victories, because they are the building blocks of your success. Think about it for a moment. When you wake up every day, you're putting in the work, right? You're pushing yourself, sometimes even when you don't feel like it. You're making sacrifices, staying disciplined, and keeping your eye on the prize. But how often do you stop to recognize how far you've come? How often do you celebrate that you got through a tough week, or that you made progress on a project, or that you showed up when you didn't want to? Those moments deserve recognition. They deserve to be celebrated. Because when you take the time to recognize your progress, you build momentum. You give yourself the energy to keep going. You remind yourself that you are capable of great things. Here's the thing. Success is a series of small steps that over time add up to something bigger. If you're only focused on the end goal, you're going to miss the beauty of the process. And that process, that journey, is where the growth happens. It's where the lessons are learned. It's where you develop the strength and the character that will carry you through the challenges you'll face along the way. But without recognizing and celebrating your progress, you might just miss it. When you take time to celebrate, you reinforce the behaviors that got you there. It's like giving yourself a pat on the back for a job well done. But it's more than just a feel-good moment. It's about reinforcing the habits and actions that lead to success. When you acknowledge your hard work, your discipline, your consistency, you create positive reinforcement. Your brain takes note, and next time it will be easier to keep going. But there's another benefit to celebrating those small wins. You start to enjoy the journey. Instead of constantly feeling like you're on a treadmill, running towards something that always feels just out of reach, you start to appreciate the steps along the way. You start to feel good about the progress you've made, even if you haven't reached the final destination yet. And that's key, because success doesn't come in a straight line. It's full of twists and turns. There are setbacks, challenges, and roadblocks along the way. But if you're only focused on the big prize, you might miss the little victories that help you build resilience, focus, and determination. Another powerful reason to celebrate small wins is that it boosts your confidence. Every time you reach a milestone, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you're capable. You gain more belief in your ability to succeed. And that belief is essential for long-term success. Because when you believe in yourself, you're more likely to take on new challenges, to step outside your comfort zone, and to keep pushing forward when things get tough. If you're constantly beating yourself up for not achieving enough, you're undermining your own confidence. But when you celebrate your progress, you're building the mindset of someone who believes they can achieve great things. And that mindset is everything. Now, I want to challenge you to think about your goals and progress in a new way. When was the last time you acknowledged something you did well? When was the last time you took a step back and said, you know what? I'm proud of what I've accomplished. I'm not talking about waiting until you hit the big goal. I'm talking about celebrating the fact that you made progress today, or that you overcame a challenge yesterday, or that you stayed focused despite the distractions. Those moments matter. They count, and they deserve to be celebrated. The best part about celebrating small wins is that it doesn't require any big gestures or extravagant rewards. It's about acknowledging what you've done and giving yourself a moment of recognition. Maybe it's a mental note, a smile to yourself, or a simple well done. Maybe it's telling a friend or a mentor about the progress you've made. Maybe it's treating yourself to something small, a cup of coffee, a walk in the park, or a few minutes of quiet time to reflect. The key is to stop and acknowledge that you're moving in the right direction, that you're doing the work, and that you're getting closer to your goal. And here's something that might surprise you. Celebrating small wins actually makes the big wins even sweeter. When you're consistently acknowledging your progress, you build a sense of accomplishment that keeps you motivated and hungry for more. The big wins become a natural progression, a celebration of all the small steps you've taken along the way. It's not about waiting for the end result to feel good about yourself. It's about recognizing that the journey itself is worth celebrating. So today, I want you to start changing the way you think about your progress. Don't wait until you hit the big milestone to celebrate. Don't wait until you've crossed the finish line. Start celebrating the small wins right now. And when you do, you'll find that your journey becomes more fulfilling, more enjoyable, and more successful than you ever imagined. Celebrate your wins, big or small, because they're all part of the story you're building. You're doing incredible work, and you deserve to recognize that. Keep going and keep celebrating. Success is a journey, and you're already on your way.